Alright, today we're going to take a look at Milwaukee's new 12-to-1 distance to spot ratio infrared temp gun. It's actually pretty lightweight. It's got a good ergonomic grip right here. Its specs are negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 1022 degrees Fahrenheit. I haven't tested it to the extreme of either of those, but I've tested it with a freezer and a stove, so it seems to be doing pretty well. It's got a laser spot indicator for where you're aiming at, and it's got a pretty good, decent LCD screen. So we'll take a look at all the features close up now. Alright, so the specific model number of this one is 2268-20. There are a couple different model numbers. They've got a bunch that are the same form factor. This one's a 12-to-1 distance to spot ratio, and it does not have the NIST certification, but they sell one for over double the price of this one, I think, that has the NIST certification. They also sell one that's a 30-to-1 spot ratio, one that's a 10-to-1 spot ratio, and another 12-to-1 spot ratio that's got the M12 battery instead of a 9-volt battery like this one has. So the display on this thing is pretty good. It's backlit. It's got great readability from vertical angles offset. I mean, you can still read it right there. However, when you go side to side, it washes out pretty quickly or oversaturates pretty quickly. So vertical good, not so much side to side. It's got a couple different modes. You can do max, min, average, and difference, and that's just for, when you pull the trigger and it does its thing, it'll tell you the difference in temperature over the whole reading range. I usually leave it on max. It tells you the highest temperature it gets and locks onto that on this bottom number right here. It only stores the last reading, so if I let this turn off on itself and I pull the trigger once, this number will pop back up, but that's the only one it stores. So here we go. Yeah, there it is. You can set an alarm for this, which basically is you can tell it whether or not you want it on, right there. And then you can set, here's the high alarm, the low alarm, here's degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius. You can turn the laser on or off. See, it's on right now. You can turn it, the lock on and off. So what the lock on does, when I pull this, you can see it's still doing its reading. I can put my hand there, you can see it gets hotter. And it stays on, I'm not pulling the trigger. When I pull the trigger again, it'll turn off. You can move these up and down. Change it to Fahrenheit, showed you that one. You can turn the laser on. And I'm going to turn the lock back off. So you can see I'm pulling the trigger now. And the laser doesn't come on, but it's still taking temperature readings. It's got a laser pointer that tells you about where you're hitting. Oh, it tells you the center of the spot you're measuring. However, don't forget, this is a 12-to-1 spot to distance ratio. So that means when you're a foot out from your target, you get a 1-inch circle that it's taking the average reading of. I would have liked to see maybe at least 2 laser pointer dots that cone out how the sensor cones to give you an idea of what side, what your actual spot ratio you're getting on this thing is. I also would have liked to see adjustable emissivity. This one's fixed at 0.95, and while it'll be able to read most things fine, the 0.95 means it's not going to be able to do shiny surfaces well. And I'll give you an example of that here in a second. The thing with a fixed rating like that is it might have trouble doing shiny surfaces like this tea kettle. The way to get around that is put something like a matte surface on it like this painter's tape. So go ahead and aim right here, and you can see we've got temperature of 106 degrees. And I'll aim right next to it, and it says 75. So if this was a fixed emissivity temperature gun, you could keep adjusting the emissivity rating until the temperature on here, on the matte surface, and the shiny surface are the same. So just keep that in mind with this one. It's not going to be great for doing shiny surfaces. I don't know how many times that'll come up in your use case, but this probably isn't the temperature gun for you if you're always doing shiny stainless steel or chrome temperature readings. Mode where you can set a threshold where your temperature reading will flash at you if you're above it. So you can see here, got it set lower than 180 obviously, and it's sitting here flashing at me telling me I'm above my threshold. And once again, just you can see the emissivity here, issues. It's not nearly as high. Move it over to the matte surface, and it just goes way up. Yep, it's cold in there. Yep, it's hot right there. Features I do like, this thing's got rubber overmold almost everywhere. And the sensor is actually well protected back in there. You can see the sensor and the laser right here. The trigger's pretty easy to pull, and the battery's pretty easy to install. Install and uninstall, it's just got this little screwdriver port right here. Do a half twist, handle folds open, your battery comes right out. So you can just pop these right off. This one locks on well to the battery, so you know it's not going to come off in the handle, and you just pop your new one on. Goes right back in, no problem. There it is. Change your battery out in less than 30 seconds or something like that. So there's the rundown on the Milwaukee's new temperature gun. I mean, it's definitely high quality build. Seems to be pretty rugged, seems to be pretty accurate. The only reservations I have about it is it's got a $100 price tag, and you can get guns that have the same specs, and some with adjustable emissivity, some with a thermocouple on them that are way less than $100. I mean, some pretty decent ones seem to be in the $35 range to $50 range. So I don't know if you're paying for the quality. Milwaukee has a 6-foot drop test that they say this thing can handle. I don't know if you're paying for the Milwaukee black and red color scheme. So I'm not really sure I can recommend it based on features alone. Quality seems to be pretty high though. So just know what your requirements are. This thing's good for an all-around temperature gun. It's pretty rugged, but it's kind of expensive for the features that it has.